Good morning. It is Wednesday, February 12th, 2025, 9:30 a.m. Winter's been in full swing. Hats off to Nick Rapekta and the Highway Department for clearing the snow. They get an opportunity in the next few days to show off their talents again. But they do a wonderful job. They do our lot at the senior center, and the streets, 150 miles of roadway, school walk routes, town center, business district, parking lots. They do an awesome job, so hats off to them. This is the monthly meeting of the Council on Aging Board of Directors. The board adheres to the Open Meetings Law and loosely follows Robert's Rules of Order. The meetings are streamed by the Shrewsbury Media Connection and may be found through the town's website. I'm Alex Roman, Board Chair, Council on Aging staff in attendance. Holly Luke is away today, but Casey Bogan, Assistant Director, is ably standing in for her. So thank you for doing that. Renee D'Argento and Aisha Sahin, our new office assistant. I don't think have you been introduced at our meetings?
First time.
Great, and you're covering the minutes today. Thank you. Council on Aging board members, introduce yourselves.
Good morning, I'm Pamela Penna.
Rachel Kleiman Wexler.
Ruth Scala.
Good morning, Larry Mayon, Vice Chair.
Great. We also have a representative from the Friends in attendance, but first we will, I guess I called the meeting to order, or by implication anyway. It'll work. Review and act to accept the minutes from January, and I think I was not in attendance. Was I there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Moving along. Friends Rep, Maria. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. Happy Valentine's to
Almost.
you. I should have worn red.
There you go.
We didn't.
Need to have your hearts on.
Yes.
I'm excited to be here today and give you news and update on one of our programs that we put on usually every other month, but it's become so popular that we did it 2 months in a row, which is our bingo. We did one in January, which was our Blizzard bingo, and fortunately we didn't have the real thing, so we were able to have it. And this month, Monday, February 10th, we had our Valentine theme bingo, and this was the largest attendance we've ever had at one of our bingos. We had 90 people, which is extraordinary.
Wow.
And out of that, we had 12 new members that attended, and happily, they will be back because 2 of the new attendees won prizes. So they thought this was great. As always, all the programs that we put on as the Friends are free. So that was a benefit for them because some had come from, we had a person attend from Marlborough and another one from Worcester. And I guess some of the programs that they have, bingo particularly, they do charge money for. So when they found out this was free and they won prizes, this was just really put them over the top. So they both said, well, all of them, I didn't speak to all of the new ones, but the 2 members that won said, well, when are you doing this again? We'll definitely be back. And they inquired at the front desk and said, are you doing it in March? And I said, no, we're taking a month off. We do our program in March is March 17th, St. Patty's Day. And backed by popular demand, and Alex can attest to this, we have a great band called Hit the Bus. And they are local musicians, and they will be playing Irish music, and of course we'll have our refreshments and Irish themed, so that's our next upcoming program, which is March 17th. Upcoming programs after that, April 14th, we will have another musical East-West duo, which is new entertainment to the senior center. We have some, repeat entertainers that come back because they're so, well attended. So that will be April 14th. And the next programs after that, we're trying to do something a little different. We did it a year ago. More of an informational program that we think is really beneficial for the seniors. And we'll be doing 2 programs, one in April and one in May. As I said, informational. The first one is going to be called the Navigating the Healthcare Highway, which is good information for people, caregivers as well as the seniors themselves, with how to navigate the system with, what's available upcoming, not knowing from one day to the next what your health is going to be. Assisted living options, palliative care, things through Fallon, and home care and nursing homes. So we did it, as I said, a year ago. It wasn't as well attended as we would have liked it to be, because it was, everyone that attended said it was just a wealth of knowledge.
Maria?
But it was in the afternoon, so we're thinking maybe we can flip it to later in the day.
Date?
I'm sorry?
Date?
We don't have a date yet. We just know one is going to be in April, one's going to be in May.
Alex, if I could interject a little bit. So we discussed that at our monthly meeting of the Triad. And since the legal, when we have legal programs related to trusts and Medicaid planning and all that sort of stuff, those are very well attended. So we're going to add that slant to the Navigating the Healthcare Highway and focus a lot on that in our advertising, and the hopes to get more people, because, the legal aspect is also part of the decision-making. We're trying to shoot for May for a program on that, so stay tuned.
I spoke with one of the gals that helped us last time, Lynn, that was at the Triad meeting, and I've been going back and forth with her, and we thought it's a lot of information, and this legal piece is really critical, to what's going on for people with, trusts and wills and things like that. So the thought in talking with some of the panelists for the Navigating the Highway, we thought we would add that piece to it. Their thought is that there won't be enough time, because they want to have a Q&A, and where it is such a popular and critical topic, that we would do one program specifically for Navigating the Healthcare Highway, and do that in April, and then in May do the legal piece and have that be separate, so that everyone gets the opportunity to partake, and thinking of doing it rather than during the day, like we normally have our programs on a Monday, the second or third Monday of the month at 1 o'clock, thinking maybe of doing it on a Tuesday, so that we can extend it and have it be later time-wise, rather than a Monday because the senior center is open
I
later.
believe that's what we did for the legal program, too. And our
Right.
program was actually 90 minutes. And so
I think it's
with a lot of good
valuable.
questions in
Right.
between all of that, so.
That's why the decision to do that separately and not lump it together with the Navigating the Highway. So thinking along the lines, that way we could capitalize on some of the people to come to attend that are working individuals. So that's why the time.
I'm glad you're coordinating through Renee with
Yes.
Triad and all. That's
Right.
important.
And
Okay.
I think it will be beneficial. So the only new piece of news, keeping you updated on our membership, as of January 22nd, we had 247 members. 52 of that were new members to the Friends. We have our ongoing food pantry that we're supporting, and trying to dovetail with people out there in the community to donate. We're working very closely with Renee and the people that are associated with the food pantry.
Okay,
So
very
that's
good.
my update.
Thanks, Marie. And we'll hear more on the food pantry in a moment. Financial reports. Casey.
Hello, everyone. So I'm going to share my screen with the short financials. I did print this out for the board members as well to review. So we'll just go over the general information here that Holly was kind enough to highlight for us. So our Council on Aging OpEx, that's our operating expenses through our general fund. So that's our budgeted finances through the town. So we currently have $9,000 169.80 available there. But our total general fund, which includes our salaries for staff as well, is at 63,267. Scrolling down a little.
Excuse me, and this is 6 months through the end of December?
This is up to
Or through-
date as of last week.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So our next fund is our Elder Affairs Grant. This is our annual formula grant. As Holly has stated in the past, it is never guaranteed, but it is generally something that comes along. We do get 2 installments of payments. We do not get the full funds right away. So you see a negative 6,000 there, but that is simply because we have purchase orders that are included. That's under the encumbrances. That's that 17,000. So that is not all fully expended. That's basically just appropriated. And so it looks like we have negative 6,407. Our second installment from EOEA, the Executive Office of Elder Affairs, for the remainder of our formula grant should be coming. Last year it came in mid-March, so hopefully it should be coming around the same time this year. Then scrolling down to our gift fund. So our Council on Aging gift fund, this is for donations that we get from the community. Our main gift fund right now is at $20,171, and our garden fund is up to $10,473. So it's very exciting. And then not highlighted, but the WRTA COA contract, that is the salaries where we get the funds monthly from the WRTA to pay for our full-time van drivers who operate the blue WRTA vans.
If I could interrupt on the garden fund?
Yes.
So is there a plan for spending that this year
So
before summer?
I'll let
Are you going
Renee
to take
take
care of
that.
that?
So, we're gonna have to get new estimates because those are almost 2 years old now. And the plan is to hopefully, if we can get the main part of the garden built, the raised planters, but the raised planters and the plantings themselves would exceed $10,000. So if we're able to raise enough money by the fall to do those, we could potentially do that.
And we have updated our outreach. I know the Friends sent out a mailing recently to former and current Friends members with the brochure about the sensory garden. And we have updated Renee's outreach corner with more information for the sensory garden starting in March.
But we don't think we can get anything going before the summer when, like, plants
Because
grow?
the raised beds are the most expensive part, the cedar planting, cedar
Sure.
beds, and then the irrigation that will go in, and then the plants in the soil itself. It's a very large installation. Yeah.
Do we have an idea how much will it be?
Of how much it will be?
The cost?
So, off the top of my head, it was going to be about 17,000 for the cedar plantings, the soil, and the hundreds of perennial installations.
irrigation?
And the irrigation was about 5,000.
So that's plus 17 plus 5?
Yep.
So
We can do it.
Just under half.
continue to welcome donations. There will be information also in the March newsletter with tiers for donations. I saw for plaques that can be people can be commemorated, and the sensory garden and everything. So we're hoping that will get a little bit more attention as well.
That's a really nice idea. Plaques in a garden for
Yeah.
memory. That,
Yeah.
But we don't want to pollute the garden with too many things.
Yeah.
It has to be
Yeah.
tastefully done.
Yes.
yeah.
Has anybody monitored the response to the brochure that went out?
It just went out like a week ago, and there were almost 400 pieces that we went out, and that was just the first mailing to the former Friends members and current Friends members. The next mailing is the businesses in town, and I think that will generate a lot of interest because I have reached out to businesses personally and gotten a lot of donations for that. So once it goes out to the community with the businesses, I'm sure we'll get what we need to get the thing kick-started.
The one thing I had hoped to do, but I haven't had time to do, was apply for CPC funds. I have support from the planning department on that. You know, I talked to
CPC?
them and presented, you know, the information.
What is
That's for the
CPC?
Community Preservation Act funds.
Ah.
But there's a timing issue there in order to be approved at their meeting, and then for fall or springtown meeting. So that's a potential good source of funds. But again, like I said, I just haven't had the chance, and now I'm going on leave, so.
And they do have funds available.
Was there
I
a
think the
different, is there a
deadline-
different brochure going out to the businesses? Because the one I received, the first one, there's no form in there to fill out and include a check with a form. It just tells you about the garden. Is there
The
something in the-
thought for the businesses,
Yeah.
we did it as a brochure so that we could utilize the bulk mailing and have it be far less expensive. And thinking, if it's something in an envelope, typically people don't even look at it, they just toss it. So this at least was color, would catch their
Oh,
attention.
it's beautiful, but it
We
was,
are going to put like a sticky note on the inside with like additional information of, you know, where to send funds or whatever. I mean, I think that is necessary, but our
Well-
thought process was we wanted people to look at it and know about it.
It does say where to send funds in there.
it does say,
Yes.
but usually a brochure like that has one panel that you could fill your name and information on and then just tear it off and mail
Act
it in.
quickly, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Raquel?
Can we use a scannable barcode on it so they can just use that for donation instead of sending it somewhere, going to a site, just scan it?
So
We have that
And do it.
capability, don't we?
Yes, we do. We are working with the treasurer's office to get that set up for the gift fund, the garden fund, and the food pantry. So that will be coming down the pike. We're still finalizing for a specific COA section. Right now, everything is lumped in with all donations for the town on the site. So we are working with the treasurer's office and their contacts to get that sorted for us and make it easier for everyone.
Can
Okay.
donations be made online?
Yes,
question.
that is.
That's part of what.
Yeah, that's what we're
just
working
about
with the treasurer's office to get that going.
Not yet.
Okay,
All right.
moving on.
All right, and then our last fund on here, we'll go down to page 2, but this is the revolving fund. This is the fund that manages maintenance, et cetera, for our town-owned white vans that can do our special trips. So we have $6,737 in there. So we do get funds from the Shrewsbury Housing Authority to help run those as well.
So we're on track.
We are on track.
Okay. Are any of our funds, how should I put this, threatened, imperiled by what might be going on at the federal level? I know ours are mostly funneled through the state.
Yes, ours are mostly funneled through the state. As of right now, I don't see any issues. We don't anticipate any issues from the federal situation, but we can't say for sure. So
Right.
as of right now, I don't believe that our funds are in jeopardy.
Okay. Moving on. It says review and act on financial reports. Do we need to act? We haven't in the
We
past.
haven't in the past.
Okay. Director's report, starting with Renee.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. So I'll start with the food pantry and the cultural meals that we're offering twice a month at the senior center now. So we have a big focus on supporting food security in seniors in particular. With the food pantry, people can register for that, and it's very simple. Just name, address, you're a Shrewsbury resident, age 60 or over, or in a household, which we can count the whole household if they would like for food. Right now, people can come in every 2 weeks, visit the pantry, and get non-perishable as well as perishable items available. and it goes according to, you know, what we have available and by the household number. And it's usually, you know, pretty generous, even though it's supposed to be a supplemental source of, you know, of food. And also, we have been receiving quite a lot of donations lately with Jen Andrade, our new food pantry coordinator. She's been concentrating on reaching out to, you know, to residents and businesses and making, you know, people aware that the food pantry is there. And we've received quite a few donations, and now we're actually recognizing people who want to be recognized in the newsletter. And so we just began doing that with the February newsletter, or is it just March?
I think it's March.
March. And, you know, we want to recognize some that in the more recent past. So, for example, as I have noted in December, that 11 food pantry recipients received turkey baskets in November, and that was, you know, courtesy of the Andrea Castanetti Realty Group. And also, we've been getting ongoing donations from the residents and staff at Southgate of Shrewsbury.
Thank you.
And, yeah, and since our produce has ended with Gleaners because of the season, we have used $250 in gift cards from Central One to purchase produce so that we could try to bolster that. And in the meantime, Jen has been, you know, reaching out to supermarkets and things like that to try to get a more regular donation going during the off season. So we made an application to Wegmans, and they gave us, as part of their giving, they gave us a $500 donation that we can use to purchase produce, and then we'll be doing weekly pickups there as well. So there's a lot of good things in the works with Jen coming on with us in January. And of course, the police department, when they did Stuff a Cruiser last fall, they gave us quite a few donations that they had. And we're planning on having a periodic Stuff a Cruiser for the food pantry. They're very supportive of us, which is great.
Renee, has enrollment increased at all?
Yeah, so since last month we had 77 registered patrons, and now we have 83 registered families. Not all visit at the pantry periodically, but it's available to them. And we have had, since August, 455 visits. Now, since the produce had gone down, visitation has fallen off the last couple of months a little bit, because, you know, many families, that's what they've come for
Yeah.
primarily. But I'm sure that we'll be bolstering that up again. Also, fuel assistance applications. Now, I want to just announce that I will be going on leave starting tomorrow, and I'll be back March 17th. So I've arranged for Rebecca Rayno from Shrewsbury Youth and Family Services to cover for me 4 hours a week on Thursdays from 10 to 2, and that would be to help with benefits applications for people and to follow up on any fuel assistance needs or any working with Holly, our director, on any fuel emergencies that occur and that sort of thing. SNAP applications, anything like that. So the whole office is set up with application forms, and should people need to come in the interim to get an application, they can go to the front desk and request one. And they should make appointments with Rebecca, because she has a limited amount of time to service the resident needs in that respect. So,
Thanks for making sure that will run as smoothly as possible while
Hopefully,
you're
yep.
off. Well, that's a big deal.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Also, regarding the food security, supporting that, we started a program, a cultural meals program, that started February 4th, and it's in partnership with Elder Services of Worcester area. with the COA, as well as FISCO, that's Friends of India Seniors Association. And they approached us to see if we could serve a population that's been underserved at the senior center, people of Indian descent. And so the cultural meals are going to be vegetarian. Mayuri Restaurant in Westboro is the caterer for us. And it will be during the regular congregate lunch, so people will have the choice of signing up for the regular lunch or for the cultural meal between 11:30 and 12:30. There is a, just as with the congregate meal, you have to sign up in advance, and you do that with FISCO, either on their website, or if you're not on the website, you can call a phone number and register by phone. And that would be by Sunday at 4 o'clock before the meal is to be on Tuesday. It's the first and third Tuesday of the month is when it's going to occur. Yeah.
I joined the luncheon on February 4. It was really awesome. And I'm probably going to do it every 2 weeks. I really enjoyed it. It was just perfect.
The quality of the food is excellent, and it's not overly spiced. It's just perfectly seasoned, and it's just delicious. So I hope people will enjoy. And so the dining room basically sits about 45 people, and because we have 10 to 15 diners with the regular congregate every week, we reserve 15 places for that, and 30 were reserved for the cultural meals. We've now bumped that up to 45. So people who are dying to, because we really had a full house, and I think, the limited seating is going to fill up fast. People will now have the opportunity to sign up because there are more seats available, which is great.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
I plan to try it out myself. I'm a big fan of Indian food.
It was
So.
just really perfect.
Yep. Also, we have, we talked about navigating the healthcare highway, and I'm proud to say that that's being discussed at Triad. And for people who don't know what Triad is, it's basically an organization made up of departments concerned with the safety of seniors and preventing fraud and doing that kind of education, that sort of stuff. So we have had monthly now many fraud and scam programs by different kinds of by different people. We had a contractor scams by one of our contractors who's a volunteer for a small home repair. We also had the registrar of deeds and those people there talking about deed fraud. Then we had Kevin Donahoe from the district attorney's office talking about internet scams. We also had from the Consumer Protection Bureau a representative talking about shopping scams and things like that, identity theft. And in the coming 2 months, for 2 months in a row, we have a representative from Santander Bank who's going to talk about scams related to banking. So we're going to keep on with that kind of education through the Triad. Also, we have a health fair that we're planning April 22nd from 2 to 5 o'clock, open to the public. Last time we did a health fair was in 2022. We have spots for about 60 vendors, and that will include town departments that want to participate. So last time we had many town departments in the lobby together. We had police, fire, Selco, DPW, the health department, and the housing authority represented, and we hope to have that again. And then in the main side room A and side room B, we had all kinds of vendors related to, senior home care, legal assistance, durable medical equipment needs, all kinds of stuff like that. So we hope to have that again.
So that's April
22nd.
22nd.
Yep, that's during school vacation week, so we hope to get a lot of attendance. Related to that, what was I going to say? well, anyway, invites have been sent out, and so far we have about 29 signups since Friday. So I'm sure we'll fill that up again. I've reserved a bunch of places for the people who attended last year, the departments and companies, so that we have a good representation instead of just all one type. Yeah. So,
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay,
Any
transportation.
questions?
Okay, who's covering transportation?
That would be me. We are working on getting our brochures that exist for transportation translated into multiple languages to reach more people. So for FY26, we would like at least the WRTA transportation brochure to be translated into common languages, Spanish,
I thought it already was.
not ours, not the one
Oh.
that we have. So if anybody in the community or anybody on the board has any suggestions or connections for where we could get that translated, that would be fantastic and very helpful information.
I thought the WRTA had it translated like in 7 different languages, so I'd start with them and see how they did it.
Yep. Yeah, that's a great idea. We will reach out to them.
And that may not be enough,
Yeah. Yeah.
so. Okay,
And then as far as special trips and community feedback and suggestions, so Cynthia Willis, our transportation coordinator, is looking for feedback from the community. So she will be holding more events to discuss these opportunities with the community. And additionally, in order to get more people on board with the special trips and more people able to go and attend these events, we will be designating between $500 to $1,000 per month for admission fees or lunches for, the brown bag lunch concerts at Mechanics Hall. We will provide lunch every once in a while for those, and other things for these special trips. So like we did with the aquarium, where we purchased a certain number of tickets for people to go, we will be trying to do that for more local places as well, so that people are more able to go. As we know, cost can sometimes be a hindrance for people to be able to attend these special trips, so we want to open that up to more folks. We will be trying to use our 14-passenger vehicle for these trips as much as we can. That is the one that we still can only keep in state, so if there's anything that goes out of state, unfortunately, we will have to use the smaller vehicle. But we will try to keep these trips in state so that we can get more people on board. And then with that, there's still the $10 deposit is still required to reserve your spot. That's really just to secure and, make sure it's to protect us, so that if people unfortunately have to cancel, it helps us to run our vans in the future. That money does go to our revolving account when that does happen, but it is also to make sure that people have their space secured, since they are, unfortunately, they would be taking up a spot for somebody who maybe would want to go. So we don't do the wait list because we just don't have the capacity or the resources to do that. So that is why we have the $10 deposit.
And they get it back.
They do get it back once you come onto the trip. When you go onto the bus, you do get your $10 deposit back. It's only if the passenger cancels for any reason that they would not get that $10 deposit back. If the Council on Aging had to cancel the trip for any reason, they would get their $10 back. And then going forward, starting in March, we will not be taking reservations for any trips until the first of the month that they're happening. This is just to get the word out to everyone as efficiently as possible and give everyone a fair chance to sign up for these trips, especially since we will have some that we are paying admission fees for. So we know that they're going to sign up quick, so we're kind of putting that limitation where you can only sign up at the first of the month.
so it doesn't tend to be the same people all the time, or a subset are the same ones all the time?
There are not, we have a few people, we have new people come every once in a while. We do have some regulars for certain trips, but we do the best that we can, and we want to, that was one of the reasons that we want to limit it to the first of the month for signups, just to give everyone more of a chance.
What are all the different methods for being able to sign up?
So they have to come to the senior center to give the $10 deposit to sign up. They can call ahead of time to see if there are still spots, but they do have to physically come in to give that $10 deposit.
And with all the work that's happening for online payment in other areas, would that end up being part of this? So people who are less mobile would be able to sign up, put that deposit down?
So that is not in the works right now, because it would be difficult to manage the signups, because that way we also know, we have the spots for them, and our receptionists aren't necessarily able to navigate onto that site to see who has signed up and who hasn't. There's also other information that we need, but people can always use the WRTA to come to the senior center. So that is an opportunity. If you are less mobile, you can always book a ride with them.
That's a great reminder.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Right.
Okay, moving on.
So,
Council on Aging,
yes.
volunteer recognition.
Yes, so we are having another luncheon for all of our volunteers. That includes board members, friends board members. So that invitation will be going out and will be posted throughout the senior center as well. That is on March 24th at 1:30. We plan to have it catered by Napoli again. So we will have a sign-up sheet as well as that invitation that will be going out in the coming weeks. And then if we want to move on to the Dementia Friendly Initiative. So I just hosted a Dementia Friends information session yesterday at the Senior Center. I will be trying to do these monthly, so our next info session will actually be here in this room, the Town Select Board room, on March 11th at 3 o'clock. That is a Tuesday. This is open to the public, it's open to town departments, it's open to businesses. Anybody who wants to come is able to come. And that would just, it is not a training, there's no test or anything. It is just an information session to help people understand and have more empathy for those in our community who are living with dementia. It's a fun program. I think people learn a lot and they tend to get interesting perspectives that they may not have thought of before. So I would encourage anyone to come to that. Yesterday's event, we had about 11 people, so that was pretty good. And I'm hoping that we get more and more as we move forward.
Casey, who
yes.
presents for that?
That would be me.
Okay.
So, and then we also have some updated signage that we're looking to get for the senior center. So right now the plaques on the wall that indicate what the rooms are a light blue with cream writing. This is not very age or dementia friendly. It's not very easy to read. I barely see them, honestly. They kind of just blend in with the environment. So we are working to get black plaques with white writing because of the braille on them as well. They will cost just under $2,000, and that will be paid for through the formula grant. Any
Okay.
questions there?
Moving on, programs.
So I will take over this as well. So our monthly programs, we are, of course, focused on meeting our FY25 and in the future FY26 goals. So we are tailoring those to that. So for FY25, our goals are really geared towards intergenerational opportunities. So we have our Interage Alliance group. And also we have one of our goals is geared toward reaching more people in the community through our hoot boards. So that has had some great engagement more recently. We are always doing fun giveaways for people who sign up for the hoot board. And it's not just for those who sign up within a certain time period. It's anybody who signed up until the date that the sign up. So you don't have to sign up twice. And if you signed up before, you're not missing out on the drawings. So we have had some good engagement. The board is awesome because it can give a lot of information real time. Sometimes there's information posted on there a little bit earlier than the newsletter, and then there's also some things that get posted on there that don't end up in the newsletter because the flyers are developed or the program is scheduled after the newsletter is finalized for the month. So, and people can get notifications on that and interact as well. And then we have our kiosk in the senior center as well that has all that information. And InterAge Alliance, I'm kind of going to jump down about this for the food pantry donation initiatives. So InterAge Alliance next week during February vacation is sponsoring our food drive for teen volunteers to collect in the community food to bring to the senior center food pantry. We have gotten a lot of engagement from students and parents of students who are very interested in participating in this. So just to give a little clarification, we're really just looking for teens to gather food, collect food in the community and bring it in anytime during February vacation, and they will get a certification, a volunteer certificate for doing so.
Casey?
Yes.
Alex, if I may add.
Yes, go ahead.
I meant to give a shout out. So Jen has worked with the recreation department to work with children and their parents to raise donations for the food pantry. And I think it was over 600 items was raised on a weekend.
Yes.
So from those donations. So she's working with a lot of different kinds of departments and organizations.
That's great.
Yeah.
And Jen's our new food coordinator.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay.
And on the February vacation food pantry donations, I did share the flyer with everyone too. So if you want to take a look at that, Holly's information is on there for questions for parents or students to reach out to her. And yeah, so again, we encourage everyone to bring food in. Just note that we are closed on Monday for President's Day. That's the only caveat there. And then for FY26, we are working on, our goals are the senior spotlight. So that is where staff and program instructors and whoever is interested can do videos explaining certain programs. Maybe we are working with InterAge Alliance also to do videos for tutorials and to give some information about their program as well. So that's what the Senior Spotlight is. We are intending that those will be shared on Shrewsbury Media Connection channel and on the YouTube channel for that too.
And are they helping with the production? So the production
Yes.
is a little slicker than it might be
Yes.
otherwise?
Yes. In fact, Mark Sarah did donate a camera to us, so we have a very nice camera with
Wow.
a tripod because they just got a new camera. So we're very excited to use that fancy thing with the good microphone and the good camera quality and everything. So thank you to Mark and Shrewsbury Media Connection
Wow.
for that. And then our other main goal, departmental goal for FY26 is multicultural festive celebrations. So we will be reaching out to the community to see what would be good for us to do to really support our community and the multicultural community that Shrewsbury has, and recognize all of the cultures that we do have here in town and support them and recognize them. Those are our two FY26 goals. And then I already talked about the InterAge Alliance. And I did just want to give a shout out as far as the food pantry donation initiatives to the Friends for sharing their 501c3 with us. That is what we needed, so thank you.
It was in the archive,
I know.
difficult to find.
But that is what got us to be able to work with Wegmans for that $500 gift card and then donations for produce beyond that. And so that's all we have.
Are you going to cover this data?
Yes, we can look at the data so everyone should have a printout of the data for my senior center and the hoop board. So I will share that as well. So this is information as of February 6th. These are reports. So I'm starting with the My Senior Center data, which should be the first two pages. So we have FY23, FY24, and FY25 data of event sign-ins, check-ins with the scan cards for each of these categories of programs. So we have nutrition, outreach, and programs. So as you can see already in FY25, we are beyond the total event sign-ins for all of FY24. So we're getting a lot of activity over at the Senior Center. And our push to get people to scan in has certainly worked. Again, that information does help us to cater our grant applications and things like that, and helps us to actually obtain grants. So for the
Do
total,
you know how this compares to pre-COVID?
it's
Do we
still
have
an
any data?
We do. I can bring that up or share with the group later, or we can bring it up the next visit. But it is still an increase,
Good,
a significant increase, especially for FY25.
wonderful.
Yeah. So it's been bumping up every year, and even I believe FY23, maybe even FY22 has been still more than necessarily even pre-COVID. And that could just be that we are really encouraging people to use their scan cards, so we're getting more data to begin with. But I do think that the Senior Center is also getting a lot busier. So we're getting the word out, and a lot more people are coming to visit us.
I guess we don't have any data on, there's what, just under 10,000 seniors in Shrewsbury?
Yeah.
And we don't really know how many of those we actually reach or,
No, there's no way to really get that information. But we are here for all 10,000. So if they need us, we're here for them.
okay?
I have a question.
Sure.
So the emails that people get,
Yes.
so that's a telling thing, that people have signed up for emails, and how many people have signed up to receive them?
Yes. So we do send out news flashes for our programs through our town website. So that has gotten a lot more attention. That also is likely impacting the total event sign-in increase because we are getting more attendance at our special programs, our one-off programs, as well as our regular day-to-day programs. Those emails, there are about 2,700 people in the community that receive those newsflash emails. So that includes, we put all of our business partners that we work with regularly, we put their emails on there as well. And then, community people who were signed up for the Council on Aging or other specific boards now get the community events and programs, which is what we tend to send all of our info out.
The good part, too, is they're very timely.
Yes.
They usually come in just enough days ahead to remind you, ooh, maybe I better get over there.
Aisha.
Aisha's the one that sends those out now, so thank you to her. She's very on
I
top of
think
it.
that's reaching quite a lot of
Yes.
people in the community,
Yes.
so that's a good sign, right?
Yes.
Way
and
to go,
the-
Aisha.
Yeah.
You get credit for some of this bump already.
Yes, absolutely.
So on that first table, the FY23 and 24, that's data for the full fiscal year.
Correct.
And FY25 is just year to date.
Yes. Correct.
So
Way out.
it's a huge
That's-
bump.
Yep. So we started really getting the word out through the news flashes probably in FY25. So that has definitely had a huge impact. And with Aisha here able to help us with that and getting those out regularly, because otherwise it was just me and Holly and we were kind of running around like crazy. So every once in a while things got forgotten. So having a third brain to join in the mix, we've gotten a lot more. So I think that has definitely impacted our attendance and people signing in.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Any comments on the data? Anything significant on the subsequent pages?
The hoop board also. So the hoop board information just kind of goes over how many engagements per, that first table has engagements on the kiosk. So we did get the kiosk installed in July. So August we had a lot of engagements. It's kind of going down a little bit, but
And
we
what do you
are-
mean by engagements? They just go over and
They
tap
go
on
over,
the hoop
tap
board?
on it. They look at different things. You can see what apps are viewed. So this is since it's been active.
What page are you in?
Right.
I believe
Third.
you are on page
third.
3.
Oh,
Okay.
where it says hoot board data.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
page 3.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. So if we're looking at the
Wow.
blue table, apps viewed on Hootboard, these are the basically like the collections of information. So obviously our special events and programs has had the most engagement on the Hootboard with 399 engagements. But you can also see that while the kiosk engagement has kind of decreased a bit since August, since it's not brandy new anymore, we do have pretty consistent web and mobile engagements. Yes.
And I will say that getting a Hootboard email that tells me something new has come out is really helpful, right? I think I've been there 3 times this week. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Let me guess, who's in charge of that?
Yeah, those emails help.
Good, good. That's excellent.
Yeah.
So like I said, the Hootboard has a lot of up-to-date information and information that may not be in the newsletter. So it's a really great way to engage with the Senior Center and see what's going on.
This is great. Any questions, comments? We're really trying to push the data so we can really track the performance of things. So we'll keep polishing this in a better format.
Quantify.
Yeah.
What's that?
We'll quantify.
You're right.
Well, it's really helpful in setting goals, like
Yeah.
even on that second page, and who's active by age group, right? I mean, that creates some interesting places to think about target groups.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great data.
Got to have the data.
Yep.
Well, it's good for programming too, so you can see what people do want to come to or
Right, right.
ignore.
But this doesn't quite reflect the attendance at the events, though.
No.
At the Friends events or like the Men's Club, I know
So that would
Fill the
be
room
the
every
total event sign-ins
and where's that?
that on page 1. The first table.
Oh, okay,
page
so
one.
it's,
So they're just organized based on nutrition, so that's like our congregate dining. The new cultural meals will probably be reflected in there come February's data. Outreach programs, that's people that kind of go and work with Renee. And then our programs are kind of our overall checking in for the Men's Club, checking in for Joe Fish's Senior Challenge, the Friends programs, people can check in for those too. Any special events and one-offs are on there too.
so I think I've seen in the past where we had the sign-ins broken down so we could see the data
Per
disaggregated.
program,
Right.
we could certainly share that with you. But we're trying to kind of quantify what generally people are coming in for. But yeah, we could see what's most popular. I mean, Men's Club definitely is most popular. We can just and the bingos and other Friends events. So
Right. Those
yeah.
are probably top 2.
yes,
Well, Joe Fish, too.
yeah, Joe Fish
Yeah,
is
the
very
exercise
popular too.
programs, yeah. And the balance one
Yep.
is pretty full.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
But
great.
I mean, anecdotally, we can see what's popular. and
Sure.
If
Yeah.
if there isn't much attendance and something's not that popular, it's pretty much discontinued. So,
Yeah.
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 Because the space is so, I mean, we have
In
such
demand.
limited space
Yeah.
that we need to maximize,
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Have any sense of what percentage of people come in actually do sign in? Because I know I sometimes go in and just completely forget.
Yeah, I see a lot. Just this morning, there was a problem with the kiosk, and we found out right away. And then while I was standing there fixing it, I had at least 3 people, if not more, come and try to scan in. So most people are scanning in unless they're brand new and they don't have a scan card. We have seemed to get that into people's minds to come. When they come, they scan in, especially if they're going to a program. And we do have, even just yesterday for the Dementia Friends info session, I had people saying, oh, it's not on the kiosk. And I have to tell them it's just a special program. You can just do that. You can't keep up with the keeping these in here all the time when they're kind of one-offs. So
Okay. That's great. All right, that covers everything, I think. New business, old business, anything? Anyone?
Not really.
If not, motion to adjourn?
Second. Move it, second.
Yes.
So moved, second.
Perfect. I said we follow loosely. So. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, and our next meeting is Wednesday, March 12th, and we'll see you then. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Good
you.
meeting.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank everyone.